Magical treats taste great, but justice and equality taste better. To combat hate, all ad revenue from my HB Kitchen will be donated to trans and LGBTQ charities. Thank you for supporting the kitchen and helping make the world a better place. Mischief managed.
Hello witches, wizards, and those who have just escaped from Azkaban. Welcome back to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, creating magical recipes for each and every item of food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we served up some homemade Hogwarts House gumballs, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if it's your first time in the kitchen and you want to see some new Harry Potter recipes, then hit that subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and you'll get an alert every time there is a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, there's something new for you to try today, so let's make some magic. For our next recipe, we're moving on to chapter 8 of the Prisoner of Azkaban, Flight of the Fat Lady. After Hagrid's first Care of Magical Creatures lessons, things aren't quite as exciting and definitely are a little bit dull. Harry and Ron are pretty bored as now they're spending lesson after lesson feeding Flobberworms, and that's where we see our next recipe. After yet another hour of poking shredded lettuce down the Flobberworms' slimy throats. Well, I guess there's a lot worse things that you could have to feed them. I can honestly say that shredded lettuce is not a recipe that I expected to be making, but I'm always up for a challenge. Last year during the Chamber of Secrets, I turned cabbage into a chocolate cabbage cake, decorated as the Whomping Willow, but this time I thought we'd stick to savoury. Now when you go out to a restaurant, they often have a house salad, but I'm going to make that even more magical, and this is going to be our Hogwarts House Salad, packed full of vegetables that represent each of the different houses. I'm also going to top this off with 4 quick and easy Hogwarts House inspired dressings and vinaigrettes, so that is where we're going to start. Our first quick and easy Hogwarts House inspired dressing is going to be Gryffindor, and I'm making a chipotle mayo. 3 ingredients here: add your chipotle paste, mayonnaise and water into a bowl, and mix that through until well combined. For Slytherin, I'm going to create a quick lemon vinaigrette, so for that I've rolled the lemon on a surface, squeezed out the juice, and then mixed in some mustard and olive oil. Hufflepuff are getting a quick honey mustard dressing, so for this I'm using honey, some whole grain mustard and olive oil before mixing together. And finally, our Ravenclaws are going for a more traditional dressing, which is going to be made from some olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Now, one thing that's for sure at Hogwarts is you will never leave the Great Hall Feast hungry. So I'm going to take some of that magic and infuse it into our salad. If a salad has ever left you wanting more, fear not, we're going to bulk this one out with some bulgur wheat, which we're going to cook and flavour with vegetable stock so it packs a punch throughout our salad. It's super easy to make, so this is all you need to do. To flavour our bulgur wheat, I'm making some vegetable stock, but you can also use fresh or homemade if you have it available. I've placed my stock cube into a jug and then added in the hot water, stirring that through until dissolved. Once you've washed your bulgur wheat, place a pan on a medium heat, add in the bulgur wheat, your vegetable stock, and season with a pinch of salt and pepper. Stir that through, place a lid on top, and allow to cook for around 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, you want to remove the lid and give it a taste test. If it's still a little al dente, leave the lid off and wait for the rest of the water to evaporate. You can then allow it to stand for about 10 minutes before fluffing it up with a fork. While the bulgur wheat is cooking, you can move on to preparing the rest of the vegetables for your salad. And as I mentioned, we've got a whole host of flavours in here to represent the different Hogwarts houses. Remember, the original inspiration for this recipe was lettuce, so I'm going to make sure that that is the star attraction by also creating some char-grilled wedges, which will pop on top of our salad. Once it's all ready, we're then going to serve up and tuck in. For the rest of our vegetable prep, I'm going to start off with our lettuce wedges, which I've made by cutting an iceberg lettuce into quarters. Season the lettuce wedges with salt, pepper, garlic granules, and a little lemon juice, and then I'm going to place a chargrill pan on a high heat. Once the pan is nice and hot, I'm then going to sear each side of the lettuce wedges just to give it some extra flavour and decoration. Once you're happy with the wedges, place them to one side as you work through the rest of the vegetables. As it mentions in the book, we know we need shredded lettuce for the base, so for this, I've chopped the remaining lettuce in half and then finely shredded it with a knife. Gryffindor is going to be represented through our tomatoes, so I've washed those and then cut them into quarters. Ravenclaw is going to be represented through a mix of red onions and some beetroot, so I've peeled and thinly sliced the onions and then I've sliced my beetroot as well. If you want to go the extra mile, you can also turn these into lightning bolts. For Slytherin, I've got myself some asparagus, and for Hufflepuff, some baby sweet corn. You want to wash both of these, and then I'm also going to grill them in my pan. Keep on rotating them to make sure they don't burn, and they should cook through in about 5 minutes. With all of your ingredients prepared, all that's left to do is assemble your Hogwarts House Salad. I've started off with the bulgur wheat base and the shredded lettuce before placing my wedges on top. I've then scattered around the Hogwarts House inspired toppings and finished it off by crumbling over some feta cheese. The final thing to do is grab your Hogwarts House inspired dressings and vinaigrettes and generously drizzle them over the iceberg lettuce wedges. And with that, our Hogwarts House inspired salad is good to go. Whichever house you belong to, in this recipe, there's something for everyone. And we're done. If you saw this Hogwarts House Salad on a restaurant menu, would you order it? Let me know down below in the comments. That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert next time there is a brand new recipe. I'm off to tuck into all of this house salad, so I'll see you next time.